Today we are going to create a magic Christmas window. We will start by making the background, we will then make the midground, and we won't have time to make the foreground today with the flashing Christmas tree. You can do that in your own time, but we will have time to add the magic, which is this move here that takes you through your window and into a magical winter wonderland. To complete this activity, you will need three things. The first thing you will need is the Keynote app. So if you don't have it downloaded already, go and get it now. The next thing you will need is Safari, because you'll need to go on Safari to find some images for your walls, for your wood paneling. And the last thing you need to bring, and you need to make a promise for this one, you need to bring your imagination. I can't wait to see what you make and create. Begin by opening up the Keynote app. Once the Keynote app is open, choose the theme that you want by selecting the theme button. I'm going to choose basic black. And when the basic black theme opens, I can add a new slide by pressing the plus at the bottom and then going down to the very bottom of it and selecting the blank one. And I want the blank one because I want to create a background from brand new. I can go back to slide number 1 there, I can leave it or I can delete it. It's entirely up to you. Now that I have one slide, I can begin to go and create my background. The first thing is my very background, by meaning the sky, what's in the very far distance. I'm going to select the paintbrush for that. I'm going to go to the background and I'm going to slide across, or finger swipe across, so I get this blue. And that's the blue that I want for my sky. I'm going to cover it with mountains. So I've got my blue for my sky. The next thing is just to add the mountains in, and that's really easy to do. You can add in as much detail as you want. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to have 3 different layers of mountains to look as if some are really far away, some are in the middle and some are close by. So a bit back to that background explanation, some away in the background, some in the midground and some in the foreground, just to give it different sizes and perspective. And I'm going to use the drawing tool for that. It's really straightforward. Select the little landscape button, come down to drawing, and I'm going to use the paint tub, and I'm going to make it white. So you'll see that my paint tub's now changed to white, and I can now fill in the whole background by just drawing in the mountains. And I want to have 3 peaks just like that, and I'll fill in the whole picture so you can see that. So there's my 3 peaks done really quickly. So that's my background for my background. The next colour I'm going to use is this blue one, and again, staying with my paint tub, I want these to look as if they're in between. Start to draw that, and again I'm using my fingers here, so it's really easy. I don't need to have a pen, and I'll drop them in there like that, and there we go, that one. And then the last one is the foreground for my background. I suppose I'll make that a wee bit lighter. It's just to give it different density, and I'll make this a nice wavy one. There we go. There we go, like that, as if it's really close by. And there we go. There is my background. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to hit done. And there you can see it. Because they're all different layers, and I've done 3 of them, I want them all to stay together, so you can see that they're all connected at the moment. You don't need to do this, it just makes everything a wee bit easier once you start to move things around. If I just tap on the screen, you will see that it says select objects, and then I can select all, and that means these are all together now, and they're a bit easier to move and reshape. So that's what you can do with them. If I wanted them a wee bit lower or higher, it's entirely up to you. And because you've made them shapes using the fill tool or the paint tub tool, you can then go back before you've grouped them together, and you can change the colour of them if you're not happy with them. So I've got my background, I'm going to hit done. Finally, on my background, I'm just going to add in some little trees. So in my shape selector there, up to the magnifier, and I'm going to put in the word tree, and that's the tree there. I want some lovely Christmas trees. You can make them the same colours as your different backgrounds there for your landscape, or you can leave them as white as they're defaulted to. I'm going to keep them white as if they've got snow on them, but you can do whatever you want. It's entirely up to you. And if some are way in the background as well, zoom in, make them really small. Is that? Wee. And you could do that. You could also put some snow caps on your limbs. Entirely you, it's your background, you do whatever you want with it. And that's our first part completed. The next thing you're going to do is create the midground, and the midground was my log cabin. It was that picture with all the wood all over it. And to do that, you need to press the plus button at the bottom, add in a new blank slide, and that allows you to create your midground. And then up to your paintbrush, I'm just going to change the background to white to make it a bit easier to work with. This is where you begin to add in the wood paneling, which is really easy to do. As I said, going to use Safari ever so slightly. I used Safari earlier and I put in the search wooden backgrounds, and then I saved 2 different types of woods into my photographs that I can then use to fill in my shapes. And the first shape I'm going to get is going to get this shape here. It'll default as white, and then it's, where is it? Will it not come up? There it is there. I'll change it red so you can see it, and then I can make that like a huge strip across there, and then I can go back to this the paintbrush, and I can fill it this time with an image from the wood paneling that I got. And I'm going to do this one. Once I've selected that, I can then do the same thing, copy, paste, and I've got 2 of them now, and I can bring this one down. It wants to come. Is it going to come? Maybe not paste. Paste, bring it down there. Now I've got 2 of them, leaving enough space for the window. Like that. I'll do it again, copy and paste, and this time make it about that size for the left of the window, and then make it the same size for the right hand side of the window, leaving a little space. Doesn't need to be perfect. And there I've left my window. You can adjust these sizes later on if you're not happy with them. If you want to make your view a bit more through your window, it's entirely up to you. You can leave that. So there we've got the walls. Now we need to create the window. Same thing, another shape, and this time fill it with the other wood colour that you've got from Safari. So up here, and change it to the second colour now, and there we have it. And now I can begin to build the window as if there's the top of the frame there. Copy it, paste it, copy it, and paste it. Make the windowsill a wee bit longer. Right down there. Move that up there. Copy that one. And here I'm going to put in the sides. I'm going to make it a wee bit thinner. So to make the crisscross, or to make the 4 quadrants, just select smaller pieces or smaller shapes, or make smaller pieces of wood. 2 fingers, and then twist them round so you get it to 90 degrees. And then you can bring them down and make them a wee bit smaller. Put that one there, and then again copy, paste. Put that one right in the middle, paste. Put that one up there, and then we'll get a big one, go right across the middle, paste. And then we can drag that across. There's obviously different orders you can do this in. This is just the order that I've so happened to do it in. And there we have our window. You can obviously muck about with the sizings if you want to make things on top of other things, tidy it up, but there you have your window. The next thing to do is to take your midground and overlay your background with it, and that's really easy to do. Tap anywhere on the screen, select objects, select all, and you'll notice it selects everything on the screen. Hit done, and then hit group, and what that does is create one large object, and you can then copy it or paste it and cut it. It's entirely up to you, and then paste it on top of your other object. And there you see, you can now see through your midground, your log cabin, all the way out to your background. This is where you're going to make your window become magical by using Magic Move. You might already have figured that out. It's really easy to do, and we're going to use a transition to do it. And to get the magic move transition, you just select your very top slide, you select the transition option here, and then down at the bottom there it says add transition, you press that, and you're going to use magic move. Magic move gives you a little example here. You just hit done and you want to duplicate. And what that does is it creates a second slide, and it means you can move from one aspect of the slide, the first slide, to the second slide. And we're going to do that by zooming in the window. I'm going to do that really quickly to show. It's a wee bit footery, but just stick with it. And of course you don't need to look through one pane, you could look through the middle of it, you can do whatever you want with it again. So here we go. Select my second slide and I just begin to drag it until you see that I'm looking through one pane. And there you have it. I've got my one pane. I will now show you the magic by pressing play on my first slide. And because it's a magic move when I transition from one slide to the next, this happens. There you have it, you have made your magic Christmas window. It's maybe going a wee bit too fast, so to fix that, just go back into your slides, hit your first slide, go to your transition, which is your magic move, select your magic move and just change it to how slow or fast you would like it. I'm going to do 6.5 seconds. I can hit done, and then when I go back to live mode this time, you will notice it goes that little bit slower. So there you have it, you've created your magic Christmas window. Now if you've got enough time, you can create a little Christmas gift. I don't have enough time today to create the gift, otherwise I'll miss all my Christmas shopping and writing my list for Santa. But I'm sure if you look back on the other videos for 12 Days of Christmas, you will find how to make a Christmas gift. Best of luck making your Christmas magic windows.